Alright guys, welcome to the video. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys what I've been printing for the last couple days. Now, not only do I like to make helmets, like these two that I shown in the previous video. If you guys watched it yet, I highly recommend you guys checking that out. But not only do I like to 3D print and make builds on helmets, but I also like to do 3D prints of cosplay stuff as well, like cosplay guns, swords, whatever it may be. Anything for cosplay, I'm I'm totally into that stuff. If you guys are familiarized with Arc Raiders, that just recently came out in, I believe, October 30th, if I'm not mistaken. But if you play Arc Raiders, which I do as well, on my free time I like to play Arc Raiders. But if you know what Arc Raiders is, you're definitely going to know what this next project of mine is as well. This is the Anvil. So this is the Anvil pistol that I 3D printed. Now this took like almost 2 days to 3D print, and yeah, I cannot wait to start on this project. And as of right now, it just got done 3D printing just a few minutes ago. So these are all the parts, smaller parts for it. I separated them, and yeah, everything came out really nice. Right, so let's see how easy. Okay, I was just gonna say, let's see how easy the prints come off. But yeah, they come off very easy, which is always what you want. There you go. Yeah, definitely no need for a putty knife, which is awesome. All right, let's go. All right, so here we are, and I got my 3D prints for the Anvil all right here. So let's take a look at the smaller ones first and try to remove the brims. But yeah, I like to use brims in my 3D prints just so that I can make sure that while the printer is printing, I can make sure that the prints really stay in place. And I've been using the brim option for my slicer for, I'd say, like forever. Ever since I started 3D printing, I've always used the brim no matter what, whether I'm using supports or not. The brim is pretty much my go-to option when I'm slicing and prepping my prints. I also have a resin 3D printer on hand, because the resin 3D printers, those ones are amazing when 3D printing smaller prints like minifigures and all that good stuff, especially like smaller parts like this. But for this project, this is just perfect. So yeah, awesome, especially for these smaller parts right here. These are getting a little bit more on the tiny miniature side. Again, if you guys want to 3D print like miniatures, like this kind of size, I mean, granted, the Anycubic Cobra 2 Max did an awesome job, but if you guys are planning on 3D printing like small prints like this, like miniatures, like miniature figures, I highly recommend resin 3D printers, which I will also be doing a video on, because I do have an Anycubic Proton M3 Max that I have honestly haven't touched, to be honest, like ever since I took it out of the box. It's like brand spanking new. I got it all set up and everything, but ever since, I have not tested it out yet. But I will be testing that out very soon, so make sure you guys turn on those notifications and subscribe. That way you guys do not miss out on that video, because I do have some ideas for some resin projects that I want to work on, and yeah, I just cannot wait. But again, if you guys want to 3D print like miniatures like this one, I highly recommend resin 3D printers like the Anycubic Proton M3 Max. But in this case, my Anycubic Cobra 2 Max did an awesome job. Alright, so when it comes to cleaning your guys' 3D prints, I mean, there's really nothing to it. It really depends on you how you want to go on with the cleaning process, like removing the supports and trying to make your 3D print models a lot more smoother and cleaner. But I like to always use a soldering iron in some cases. Most of the time, I really just need my snippers um, and smoothing out and taking care of all the unwanted residue, like supports and all that stuff. But yeah, like with a soldering iron, like if there's like a rough spot on the model, I always just like to run it down with my soldering iron real quick. Like for example, like if this part is like a little bit rough, I just like to just run it real quick and just smooth that part out, just like that. You don't have to go crazy with it, but it's like it's a way uh, that I've used that's always worked out for me. Um, Now you don't want to crank up the heat too much because you'll end up melting the print. So you just want it enough to where it's doing enough to where you're only doing quick passes and yeah, and pretty much smoothing out that part. Like with me, whenever I'm doing repairs like this or cleaning with a soldering iron, I always like to hit my prints with primer anyways after I clean everything. So yeah, I mean that's one way that I like to clean off my prints other than just using snippers. Other tools uh, like these are just smaller versions of this that's really good as well for smoothing out surfaces, just like so. It helps out a lot, especially removing all them loose supports or grimes off of your prints. Very, very nice. But I've pretty much gone through all of these parts as well. You guys can see, nice and smooth, beautiful. This one as well, looks nice. This one as well. You guys can see I did do quite a bit on the inside here and quite a bit as well on the top here. But yeah, I mean, everything is looking really nice and smooth. So it's just a matter of now putting everything together. So this is also a part that not only the 3D printing process, like from picking out your print, prepping it in your slicing software, you know, seeing how everything is going to get printed and come to life, but also when everything's all printed, now like putting everything together now that I got all my parts mostly cleaned and ready to go for assembly, putting it together is also a blast as well, especially you guys like putting stuff together. That's another thing with 3D printing is you're always busy. All right, so when I'm putting things together and I want things to stick fast, this is the stuff that I use, and this stuff is awesome. So pretty much all you need to do is just spray one part like so. There we go. Okay, and then the other part just like so, and you don't have to add a lot. Just a little bit amount will do, and just spread it out just like so. I'm also going to spread it out over here as well. Okay. Now, I just want to make sure that when you place this, you want to make sure you place it in the spots where you need to be at. So, because this stuff is going to stick fast. So here we go. And this is pretty much instant. So it'll just take seconds, mostly to a minute or two. So here we go. And yeah, so those two parts are completely together now, and that is not coming apart anytime soon. So that's what I love about this stuff, and this is pretty much what I use, guys, whenever I'm putting 3D prints together. And yeah, this stuff is awesome. Highly recommend it. And also, if you guys are having issues with bad adhesion with your 3D prints and your 3D print bed, I highly recommend this stuff as well. These are pretty much personal items that I use with my 3D printing, so highly recommend it, guys. All right, so we got these two parts together, and it looks fantastic. And again, it's not coming off. So now I'm gonna go ahead with the rest of the build with the Anvil pistol. So let's get into it. All right, so another thing that I like to use with my 3D printing, when I'm putting together my prints, like if I want to start welding my 3D prints together, especially like if I'm filling in gaps and all that stuff, that's when the 3D pen really comes in handy. And this is the 3D Doodler Pro, and this thing is awesome. So let's go ahead and start using it. It's really easy to use as well. So, right, so I got it set for PLA filament. This 3D pen is awesome. It's pretty much my go-to when it comes to 3D pens. This thing is a game changer, especially when you're filling in gaps like these as well. I'm probably not going to fill it in like right now, but I'm going to weld this part onto the rest of the frame of the pistol. So let's go ahead and use the 3D pen, the 3D Doodler Pro. All right, so we are done. And here is what I did. So I just pretty much just ran one run of a weld over the spots where I needed the extra filament at. And now I'm just gonna run it real quick with my soldering iron and just smoothen everything out. All right. That looks perfect. All right. All right, guys. So there it is. So I smoothen everything out and it looks awesome. So this thing is not going anywhere and it is fully functional as well. There you go. Perfect. And I gotta say, this thing is looking pretty sweet as well for a prop gun. That looks nice. All right, guys, so here it is, fully assembled. And again, this is the Anvil pistol from Arc Raiders. And again, this is an awesome prop gun. And I can't believe that I'm actually holding an Anvil pistol. 3D printed. And yeah, I mean, if you guys like Arc Raiders, you guys can check it out. But yeah, it's an awesome game. But yeah, I just had to 3D print this because I love 3D printing. And I also like how 3D printing allows you to bring stuff that you can never imagine that you would ever get to hold in your hand and just inspect and look at it and just appreciate it as much as you do like in Arc Raiders in the game. So having a prop Anvil pistol in my 3D print collection is just crazy. I never thought I would ever get to hold an Anvil pistol, and I got to say that this thing is huge for a pistol. So yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more builds like this. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and peace.